check it out. I am live in front of the Bummer Bush. Because that game last Sunday was quite the bummer. And hey. Are we live? So let's see what we can do here. Welcome to another exciting edition of Dog Fight Sports. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, that game on Sunday was a huge bummerooski. So, after that game was over, none of us heathens had the heart to go through and do a post-game or a post-mortem on that game. So here I am, Nick New Name, and I'm starting to feel like I might need to bring back Nick the Non-Believer after that schlacking that we took. So here we are on a Friday evening right in front of the Bummer Bush. And I just felt like I needed to get a little bit of a rant out of the way on how the Browns performed so poorly and how Deshaun Watson is killing us. Oh my God, Deshaun Watson. So I just wanted to take the time to remind everybody, since day one, who was the guy who hated Deshaun Watson the most? Since day one. So I am seeing all these pundits and all these incredible Browns fans finally catching up to realize Deshaun Watson is a bum. Why do we have him here? The worst trade of all time, the worst contract of all time, maybe the worst human we've had in the league. So if 22 allegations wasn't enough, if the next one that came out a couple years ago, 23 allegations wasn't enough, now we have another one. And this one, you know, it seems pretty bad. Seems a lot worse than the others. So Deshaun Watson, we already knew he was a bad guy. We signed him anyway. We already knew he hadn't played because of his injury situation. Still signed him anyway. Knew he was going to be Rusty Bucket. Still signed him. Knew he was injury prone. Still signed him. Now, everybody, all the pundits now are just like taking all the credit. Like, oh, you know, I think Deshaun Watson, he probably wasn't that good of a dude to be being a franchise quarterback, being the face of your organization. Guys, since day one, that contract came down, that trade came down, I was like, that is the worst. That's the worst thing you could do. Literally pick anybody else. We gave all of our draft capital away. We're finally still trying to get back to the scheme of things where we can have some draft picks. Look at the monster that we created in Houston. Houston is just feasting off of everything that we've been spoon-feeding them. Houston's team, oh my gosh, they could possibly be a Super Bowl team, if not this year, the next couple of years. Their window is wide open, and the Browns' window is rapidly closing. Njoku, he's already out. Nick Chubb, he's not back yet. We can't keep the offensive line healthy. What are we doing? What are we doing here? We got to get rid of this Deshaun Watson fellow. Get him off the field right now. Get him off the team as soon as possible. We don't need him. We don't want him. It's the worst possible thing we could do is keep on having him on the field. A new allegation came out. All right, well, he's not on the commissioner's exempt list, which is nonsensical to me, but all right, just take a seat. Take a seat. Let's see what Winston can do. Let's see what Turner can do. Apparently, we just got rid of Huntley, so we're down to two quarterbacks in the room. We had 4. Now we're going to be down to 2. I mean, you just can't make this up. The Browns, they're just like a nonsensical team. I just don't understand the organization. You bring in the worst guy you could ever get. You keep on holding on to him way too long. Are we going to have to suffer through 3 more seasons of this? I mean, I thought maybe when the allegation came out, I was like, oh man, maybe it's time to party. Maybe. Time to wipe the slate clean from that scourge. Get him out of here. Come on, what are you thinking? But no, the allegation comes down, nothing. I mean, what does it got to take? Does he got to get up to plus 30 on allegations before we can get him out of this locker room, this cancer in the locker room? I'm hearing security guards from the Berea practice field say Deshaun Watson, he's not even really trying that hard. He's just kind of taking it easy. And why would you do anything else when you're 100% guaranteed full salary, $230 million, don't have to play, don't have to try, don't have to be a good guy. There's the rhyme for you there. So the Browns, they Brownsed it. They Brownsed it, and I'm kind of sick of people who are switching their tune now. I mean, people are like, oh, yeah, Deshaun's going to be fine. He's going to take us to the Super Bowl. Brown's going to go to the Super Bowl. I heard people saying Deshaun Watson is going to be MVP of the league this year and take us to the Super Bowl MVP. Like, are you out of your mind? I don't understand. I don't understand these people who are just like irrational exuberance. So incredibly optimistic at the beginning of the season for no reason whatsoever. Am I an optimist? Am I a pessimist? I'm a realist. Our team sucks. We ain't going nowhere. You're talking about us winning 12 games? Let's talk about us losing 12 games. Quarterback situation? Trash. Njoku? Gone. Nick Chubb? Not back yet. What are we going to do for the next 5 games? Besides, lose. We're looking at starting the season 0-5. Deshaun Watson should not be on the field. I don't care what anybody says. Besides the fact he played like trash. Could he even throw the ball more than 4 yards down the line from the line of scrimmage? I mean, he had no vertical threat whatsoever. He couldn't escape the pocket. He was running around like a madman and not making any plays. So is it going to be such a huge loss if Deshaun Watson goes the way of the dodo? I'd say let's rip that Band-Aid off right now. Stop waiting. We need this football in the hands of someone who doesn't have 231 million allegations against him. We need to start over. We need to start building. Because I have a timetable for you. And it's a timetable that not a lot of people want to hear about. Because people want to hear about what's this game happening, what's this play, how many wins are we going to get this year? Are we going to get like 17 wins? Are we going to get like 28 wins? Like, what are we going to do to get into the Super Bowl this year and have that parade? So short-sighted. You got to zoom out. You got to zoom out because the Cleveland Browns football organization has been around for exactly 80 years. And what an 80 years that's been. I mean, there's the old Browns and the new Browns. The new Browns are just turning 25. Oh, my goodness gracious. That's been a rough 25 years. What has had them flushing down the toilet? It definitely sounds like it. The last 25 years have not been kind to the Browns, but back before the old Browns, the cardiac kids, they're pretty good. They were pretty darn good back in a whole different era of football. And do I even want to go all the way back to the Browns? Jim Brown and Paul Brown. The name bears a striking resemblance. Jim Brown, of course, being one of the most prolific running backs of all time. The Browns won so many championships before the Super Bowl was coalesced. People wouldn't even show up in droves to the game because they knew the Browns were so good they were going to win the AFL before the AFL-NFL merger. So the Browns have a storied history. They've been at that location, right on the lake, lakefront, Municipal Stadium, the new stadium. Then that's been their home for many years. Now we want to move the stadium like idiots because we don't care about history. But I digress. They've had an 80-year history. So, in the grand scheme of things, I think we have to wait about 10% more. I think we're going to need to wait about 8 more years for the Browns to get into the big show. And the reason why is because Cleveland teams, you could literally set your watch to this like clockwork. So let's start in 1994, the building of the new stadium. Not Gunda Arena, but that other one down there, Jacobs Field. 1994 is when the Indians started doing really darn well. And the Indians were incredibly successful and incredibly exciting 1994 up until, in my opinion, about 2001. So they had their time in the sun. Bam, 10 years later, it's basketball's turn. It's time for LeBron James to come up and start tearing up the NBA. And what an electric personality. What an amazing talent. And that was the time for the Cavaliers to have like an incredible run and try to get into that championship state of mind. But the Indians were kind of ebbing while the Cavaliers were flowing. And so about 10 years after that, that was when the Browns were scheduled to be good. Right around, I'd say circa 2014, 2015. But the Browns didn't realize that they were very late for their appointment. And the other teams, they came around, they started doing pretty good again. I mean, you had some good Indians years, some good Cavaliers years, and even now here, 2024, another 10 years down the road. The Browns were late. They're scheduled. Now they're very late, and you have the Cavaliers, and you have the Guardians, and they are making playoff runs. Oh, the Browns, though. The Browns. This is a football town, and the Browns just can't seem to get it together. They cannot seem to get all the pieces to fit. We have, a billion different quarterbacks. We have about as many different coaches. We even have front office turnover and different ownership. So what else is there left to change? I'm like, goodness. It's about the Browns' time. It's about a 10-year scheduled window. But the Browns have been late and now very late. And I think that 10-year clock started right when we signed Deshaun Watson. That was when I knew the Browns had set themselves back 10 years. We would have to wipe the slate clean. We'd have to get rid of all the things that we have now in order to find a way to regenerate and repopulate the team. No longer will be the days that Nick Chubb is rumbling for 10 million yards and Njoku's snatching balls out of the sky. We're going to have a whole new team. It really is going to be 8 more years. So get Deshaun out of there as fast as possible. Rip that Band-Aid off. Start the rebuilding process. You might need to wipe the front office clean. Is there a way for us to get a new owner? I don't think we can get rid of this owner at this point, but come on, man. We need to get somebody who's not shady, so it does not accept these terrible actors in terms of the football talent and the personality. It did not start with Deshaun. You guys remember a guy called OBJ? OBJ came into the team, and everyone was cheering like they won the Super Bowl. Everyone was chanting about winning the Super Bowl. I was like, get this guy out of here as a locker room cancer. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. They finally figured it out after they already sold the farm. They got rid of a bunch of good talent. Idiots. Njoku. He was another one where Njoku, I was very hard on him for many years. He was like kind of buddy-buddy with OBJ, just kind of like not really a very good attitude, not really trying that hard. Although I did have to eat my words last year because Njoku did put up pretty decent numbers, pretty decent effort stringing games together that he was doing pretty good back-to-back. So, Njoku, all right, fine, you get a pass. But Deshaun, come on, Deshaun is the worst. And then this year, we didn't even have our first-round pick because of the Deshaun debacle and the guy we picked in the second round. Maybe he's got some talent, but he's got so many personality flaws that he decided to do the unthinkable. And the Browns are totally okay with that. I don't get it. We did not have our first-round pick this year because of Deshaun. Our second-round pick goes out because of domestic violence issues. We had no influx of new talent this year. How do you expect this year is going to be better than last year when we didn't have a new influx of talent? Our defense got figured out at the end of the year. Deshaun Watson is injury-prone, didn't play any of the preseason, showing no indication that he wants to be on this team. No. This year is going to be, it's not going to be dogfight sports, it's going to be dog turd. That's what's going to happen this year. And this guy right here, Baker Mayfield, got all his teams right there. He's going to be making hay for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that's the guy we could have held on to. We could have retained him. If we had retained him, we wouldn't have to be dealing with all this BS. We could have had all of our draft picks. We could have been infusing the team with talent year after year and revitalizing it instead of the team getting worse and worse year after year, getting older, getting more injury prone. Come on, man. So what I think is going to happen against those Jacksonville Jaguars this week? Oh my gosh! Well, I mean that Cowboys team had a pretty stout defense. Gotta give credit where credit's due, but Jacksonville seem a lot more permeable. So if we want to prove that we're not going all the way down in the gutter, and Deshaun's going to play even with the allegations hanging over his head, like a real stand-up guy, isn't he? I don't know. Score predictions are always wrong. Last week I did a score prediction of Browns 1 victory, Cowboys 0 victories, and I was even wrong with that. And almost everybody that I heard was all talking about the Browns winning. That's all I kept on hearing. Browns are winning. Score prediction this, score prediction that, score prediction blah, 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 blah. I only heard one person say they thought the Cowboys were going to win, and they got, like, booed out of the tent. So you want to root for the home team. You want to wish the home team's going to do well. But what do you expect? If you're doing everything wrong, and then the result's not what you expected to is not what you want it to be, well, duh, you got to do the right things in order to get the result that you want. Stop hiring bums and expecting them to carry you to the promised land. Get rid of the bums. Get rid of that second-round pick we had. Give him his walking papers. Deshaun, dump him for 5 Whoppers and a bag of chips or something. Come on, man. Let's get to building a team that we can believe in. We lost so many fans because we hired this bum, and now it's hard for me to even try to root for the Browns because I hate so many of the players on it, and the front office is dumb, and the coaching, don't even get me into that. But the ownership, it's got to start with the ownership, man. Come on. Win this game versus Jacksonville, salvage some type of small hope for the season, even though you go the guy you got is the bum. I would like to see what Jameis Winston can do, honestly. He got LASIK. He can actually see again. The man apparently was blind. Several years previous, he was just thrown to the spot where he thought his receiver was supposed to be. He had no idea if he was throwing to his own guy or if he's throwing to the opposing team. So, give me some Winston. Obviously not a perfect track record. Stuffing crabs down his pants. That was pretty. Stuffing some crabs down his pants. But what are you going to do? He hasn't done anything crazy since that I've known about, and a crab's not the same as some other things that I really don't want to mention on this show. So, let's get Winston in there. Let's see how his LASIK's working. Let's see if he can throw, maybe he can keep those touchdown numbers from a couple years ago, but minimize some of those interceptions, and maybe we'll be able to salvage this damn thing. But we keep on playing stupid games, we're going to keep on winning stupid prizes. So yeah, there's just a couple of things I had to get off my chest here, and trying our new setup at the Bummer Bush. So hopefully the Bummer Bush is not going to be a staple this season because there could be a lot of bummers coming along, and I'll be having to come out here every week. But new kind of a show here, just a quick little monologue on a Friday night, and I think now it's time to go and find something to drink. Woo! So thank you guys very much for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm hoping this thing worked right and you could hear all the BS that I was talking. But I guess I'll have a little bit of time to do the catchphrase that we almost never do. Dogfight Sports. Do you have a dog in this race? Because we do. And he's going to be chewing on your ass. All right, we're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We are on Spotify. And we'll see you soon. Sunday. Dog Fight Sports. Ow!